head coach of the Navigators is Rob Carrier. And now announcing the starting lineup for your Brunswick Dragons. At defense, number 11, Nate Donahue. At defense, number 18, Sydney Parham. At forward, number 6, Natalie Parham. At forward, number 14, Solveig Ludwig. At forward, number 17, Julian Countway. And in goal, a senior, number 30, Hensley Labonte. The head coach of the Dragons is Chris Ledwick. Athletic training services are provided by Dr. Krista Henley. The girls hockey team would like to thank tonight's presenting sponsor, Bill Dodge Auto Group. The Dragons thank them for their continued support, as well as all the other sponsors found in the media guide. Pick up your copy at the Snack Shack today. Now, if you're able, please stand and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful Sidney J. Watson Arena at Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine, as your Brunswick Dragons take on the... I don't know exactly what mascot we're going to go with, guys. I guess the whole Red Storm Navigators. Well, they're more Red Storm than Navigators, Kaz, but it's Falmouth Scarborough, pretty even split. I believe that there are 6 Navigators and 9 Red Stormers. Red Stormers, like, it's not even a plural mascot. So I don't know what we're going to do, guys. I guess just Navigators.
Yeah, Robert, we've got the spreadsheet whatnot up here, and it does go ahead and say the mascot is the Navigators, which is already pretty foolish. What is the Navigator, Robert? Go ahead and break that down for us.
I don't know what a Red Storm is either, so...
Well, I mean, you can only assume that a storm that is red would be classified as a red storm, and I think that's where we get that from. I think a navigator is one who steers a ship or navigates a boat or anything that needs navigating.
Very nautical theme, of course. Brunswick, of course, also a seaside town, but not really considered it due to the town being built inland. More of a riverside town, if anything, whereas Scarborough and Falmouth both on the water, so the Navigator term really does fit. Opening draw between Karam and Malevsky. Donahue will send it down for the Dragons, and we'll have an early icing.
Robert, the first thing I noticed when I looked down at the ice here is the Scarborough Falmouth bench has, 6 extra players on it, and one of them is a goalie. So they are shorthanded as a team overall.
Yeah, Kaz, the Dragons do skate only 10 skaters themselves, so if Scarborough Falmouth does use their whole bench, it still will be a somewhat even game, but yeah, that's still going to be very tough for them to keep up on the attrition side of things.
So, Robert, clarify that, because we do have 10 people on our bench with 5 skaters on the ice.
But we only skate, actually play about 10 players a game.
All right, good. That's just for the folks at home and myself. That's good to clarify.
Parham will center it, no one home for Brunswick. And looking to break out with the puck is Vangemi. Donahue will knock it around the back wall. Countway racing for it. She will knock it back towards Natalie Parham. Parham will collect centering pass. Nobody home. Back into the Dragon defensive zone. Will be stopped by Labonte and given to Ledwick.
Is that a shot on goal, Robert? Is that what we classify that as?
Yeah, I think we could. It looks like they're not counting it on the screen. Kaz, I do notice how hard it's going to be for you to run the scoreboard as well as commentate, but if we have to turn off the clock, we can. But you might want to just get a little close. Here's a chance for Ledwick into the zone. She'll fire over the net, hits the glass right in front of Siler Donovan, and he spills a bit of popcorn.
I am terribly sorry, Robert. I just realized that I forgot to start the clock, so you folks at home, that should be updated now. But there was a moment in time there in which the game appeared to not have started.
Vital hits the outside of the net. And fed up the ice by Frangemi, who's still on the ice due to that short bench for the Navigators. I don't believe that they have subbed yet. Vital will wind up and slap it on net, saved by Woodbury. Rebound, though, back to Vital. She knocks it off the back wall. Jerome racing for it and knocked around by Serbin. Fed up the ice. Navigators can clear, but it will be an ice. The Dragons will stay in the offensive zone. We do thank Ryan Livesay for filming for us today. It's not an amazing job with that tripod, I know, Liv, but thank you so much.
Anytime, Robert. Happy to help.
We have Ethan Patterson on the way eventually.
Ryan Livesay is a very happy person. He's very happy to help. That's good.
Face off again between Parham and Milevsky. Vital will wind up again and put it wide right of the net. And be stopped, but now knocked back into the neutral zone. Ledwick across to Vital. She will knock it down again, wide left of the net, and the Dragons will work again on that forecheck. Ledwick will get the puck on the boards. A nice centering pass. Countway on net. Save made by Woodbury. Another shot, though. The mulligan wide right. That's a great look, Kev.
Yeah, that's a great look, but also a great defensive stand from the keeper there. She really cut off Countway's angle. Not a lot of room to put anything on frame, but
that one nearly got on frame. Knocked aside again. Countway looked to center it to Natalie Parham. It was deflected. And now on the boards here is Ella Yates, trying for it from the Navigators. Fed up the ice. I still have the Navigators subbed yet. Maybe not a wholesale change.
Not a wholesale change, but they have got a couple smaller subs through.
That's just going to be pretty crazy. When the Portland Scarborough co-op for, maybe it was Portland and South Portland co-op, as here's Milevsky into the zone. It's deflected by Sydney Parham. Her shot, though, is stopped by Labonte. Ryan Livesay was just telling me about this, and I saw it on Instagram as well. As here's Lauren Livesay up ice. I really just not given an opportunity to say what I want to say, Kaz. We're just waiting for some break in the action. Really excited to tell you guys this bit of information. Here's across to Jerome. She will be knocked down by Frangemi. Now back in the defensive zone. Just really waiting for a whistle. You guys are really excited for what I have to say. I know. Here is a chance shot deflected wide. That was Sydney Parham who tried to put it on net. Donahue with the poke check on Lafayette. Now fed back into the Dragons' defensive zone. Long stretch of unbroken play. Countway into the neutral zone she goes. Has it stolen for the moment by Frangemi.
Now for a second there, Natalie Parham hopped the boards and then realized that she was the sixth person on the ice and quickly hopped back over the boards, which is something I think you don't see that all that often, but it's quite comical.
Good awareness to avoid the too many men on the ice, and that should be a penalty on Jillian Countway, and it will, as she gets her 14th on this season. She had a hat trick of penalties last game, Cats. Okay, now you guys are ready for what I have to say. The Portland-South Portland Co-op played a boys hockey game a couple days ago, and they had 9 skaters, and they actually agreed to play a running time game against the Ice Cats of Freiburg, Oxford Hills, and what's the third one? Lake Region. They played a running time game with those 9 skaters. The 9 skaters today for the Navigators are playing a full stopping time game, so that is very interesting, Kaz.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, running time is It's when time grows a pair of legs and just really gets going. Not a lot to say. Maybe the treadmill. I don't know. How does time run?
That does, of course, mean that the game does not stop. The clock keeps going throughout any whistle. There are no stoppages. That just creates a much shorter game to make it easier for those 9 skaters for the South Portland Co-op. But no such agreement for the 9 skaters of the Falmouth Navigators.
No such thing as time that runs. Time is considered to be part of the 4th dimension. And
Kaz, you want to throw that power play on there for Falmouth Scarb? Thank you. Here's a shot wide of the net. Still really, we'll have to get somebody to run this scoreboard, I think, Kaz. It's pretty difficult. But once Ethan's here, he'll be here.
it's hard to color commentate and operate the scoreboard. You know, you got to be focused on the play so you have meaningful things to say, but then also work the scoreboard. I'm kind of not doing too much of either right now. It's just a behavior that needs to change.
Here's Ledwick into the zone. High circle, she'll fire over the net. It's that back glass again in front of the Dragon student section. McCormick will settle it. Knocks it back towards Flynn. Serbin here for the Navigators with 30 seconds left to work with on that power play. Serbin still with it, will knock it around the back wall. McCormick collects. She knocks it up ice. And a nice bank pass will send the puck into the offensive zone to kill even more time on this power play. The Dragon penalty kill has been just electric this year. 35 of 36 penalties stopped.
Yeah, I mean, it almost doesn't get better than that. It only gets one better than that, actually. 35 of 36 is a huge, huge number to have. It's meaningful as a team. Means defensively they have great chemistry and can really hold down the fort when needed.
Countway out of the box, puts it on net, and it's stopped by Woodbury. Shots on goal 3-1 right now in favor of the Dragons. And the Dragons will send out a third line of forwards for the first time in many games. I have seen them do this. This is C.C. Smith, Missoula Long, and Sitlali Saavedra.
Dragons looking to win this game.
Facts. Here's Karam. Long centering to Saavedra. Karam knocks it down. Sydney Karam again with the puck towards the net. It is wide right. We could ask Carter Copeland to run our scoreboard, Kaz. I see him walking over.
We can do the camera instead.
No, that's all you, Ryan. I only trust you. Ryan, you only have to do the camera for the first period, and then Ethan Patterson will be here. So, Carter, come run the scoreboard, please. Come on. Yeah, I know. So does Ryan. You guys have a game. Actually, folks, good segue.
Can I stop it?
Yep. Just match the Jumbotron. Thank you, Carter. Can you can put your bag down. You can have a seat. Thank you, Carter. This will be 1 hour of community service for you. The Dragons, of course, play Coney right after this game. So we just want to match it to 7:19. And now we have the full attention of Kosinski back on the game, which is always a nice thing to have.
Thank you, Robert. I'm very happy to be here. Excited for this game tonight. Excited to get things started out here. I think Dragons are going to try and go ahead and score more goals than Falmouth and come ahead with a win here.
Shot wide right of the net by Yates. Now collected by Finjemi. She'll be knocked down by Ledwick. Clean shoulder bump, no checking penalty. Ledwick along the boards will knock it into the neutral zone. Take it over by Finjemi for the Navigators. Makes a move and knocks it into the Dragon defensive zone. McCormick up ice, nobody home, and will that roll slowly to an icing? No, it will be collected instead by Grevin.
Oh, yes, sir.
And a chance here for Ledwick as she will reset along the wing. Makes a nice cut back to McCormick. McCormick with space will fan on the first pass. Gets the puck back, though. And taken over by Livesay.
Now, of course, Quinn McCormack, a great defender. She was not in the starting rotation tonight. I believe they're trying to split their lines, and have kind of two strong lines as Vital goes for a deep shot there. Vital has been just cranking it from long range tonight. Every shot of hers has been from pretty much near the half, and there's another one. Wow.
Does it again, save Woodbury. Yeah, right on cue there, Kaz. She kept it in the zone again and knocks it off the back wall. Once again, thank you, Carter Copeland, for showing up to run our scoreboard. That's just clutch. Of course, sponsored by Singer Domingo Portside Real Estate. Here's Ledwick. She'll fire. It's deflected by the blade of Milevsky. And now knocked into the Dragon defensive zone. It's rolling on its side for an ice.
Good for the Dragons to come down with the icing call there. They definitely have been dominating possession, shots on goal, and whatnot. All of the offensive things. Typically, when you want to win a game, it's good to be doing the offensive things. And that they have been doing. They definitely look like the stronger team for the first 10 minutes here.
Very clean face-off win by Milevsky. And now along the boards, Parham battling with King. Back here to Parham. Will knock it to Jerome. Jerome centering pass. It's cleared but kept in by Parham. Will knock it off the boards to Jerome. Has it stolen and knocked up the ice for the Navigators. Racing after it now is Belarus. Jerome will now a nice hit along the boards by Parham on from Jemmy. And Jerome racing for it with Belarus. Will win that race. Belarus trying to lift Jerome's stick. And now Ledwick will reset in the neutral zone. Nice bit of skating to get into the offensive end. As her line mates join it, she has Countway open in the slot. Countway will fire, saved by Woodbury.
Goalkeeper Tessa Woodbury is playing excellent right now. That was a great look for the Dragons. Ledwick with a nice sliding cross in the middle, and Countway was the first one there. Stick on it, good shot on, but good stop by Woodbury.
Ledwick will fire it right of the cage. Parham now back to Vital. Vital high circle will fire. It's deflected and wide. Countway. As falling now is Parham, taken over by Serbin. And through the defensive zone, Vital.
I wanted a flag there, Robert. What about you?
It appeared to me that Parham fell on her own volition, but we'll have to check the replay when we get a stoppage. Here's Vital into the zone. We do love the comments from Carter Copeland.
Yeah, it adds a little fire to the broadcast. We got to make sure, Carter, we keep it PG, because otherwise we get YouTube restricted, and we don't want that to happen. The administration also may have a few words with us. So we're going to aim to not have those two things happen.
Ledwick will fire. It's deflected wide of the net. Parham will lift up the stick of Yates and collect the puck. Knocks to Ledwick. Ledwick into the slot. Gives it back to Vital. High circle. She'll fire again. Hits right below that Dragon student section once again. Here is Sydney Parham. Will try to knock it to Ledwick, and instead will be cleared into the neutral zone. Vital again. Will knock it off the back wall, and that will be a nice. Was Vital behind the red line?
You know, I mean, it could go either way. She certainly seems to think she was, banging her stick on her helmet there in a sign of disappointment. We'll never, yeah, she was.
Yeah, pretty clearly, actually.
Yeah.
My memory gave her the benefit of the doubt, but solid 3 yards behind that red line.
Let's go.
Serbin will collect for the Navigators. She'll spin. Backhands it up the ice, looking for King. Serbin around the back wall again. Parham will poke it out of the stick of Yates. And towards the net is Jerome. She hits the outside of the iron. Flynn will center it. Jerome along the back wall has it stolen by Jemmy or Milevsky. And now here is Milevsky with space in the neutral zone. Now she will reset. And we'll put it wide right to Labonte. Sydney Parham. as it deflected and kept in the zone by Milevsky for the Navigators. We'll look to get around Sydney, and she does somewhat tackle Milevsky, and that will be a hook on number 18 in white, Parham. Of course, the second most penalties for the Dragons this season. I believe that will be a hook on her.
Now, Countway did put some space. She, prior to this game, was leading 13-10 in terms of total penalties. Countway has already recorded a penalty this game, so that lead was extended to 14-10, but now
Parham trying to come back.
Sydney Parham is tightening the gap back to a 3-point lead for Countway, 11-14 in terms of penalties.
Yeah, so needless to say, those two account for the vast majority of Brunswick penalties this season. We'll have to do the math on that. Is Kaz going to do the math on that? How about it? Here's a shot blocked by Natalie Parham, as Countway will get that puck into the zone. A shorthanded rush, high slot, as it's stolen. A nice defensive play by Finjemi to get back on defense. And taken over by Serbin. Serbin way up the ice. Ledwick will knock it down again in this Dragon penalty kill, barely allowing the Navigators to enter the zone. Here's Milevsky with speed and space into the slot. She will look to fire. It's deflected by the pairing of Ledwick and McCormick. And here's a huge collision along the boards. Milevsky and Countway are down. And Countway will extend her lead.
Actually, she is. She's in the box with Sydney now. They're at the box at the same time. Dragons will have 3 players on the ice. Milevsky was slow to get up there.
It's going to be a 5-on-3 for the Navigators. Yes, Carter, they gave her a penalty for that. Ledwick with the sportsmanship to help. That was Donahue, sorry. It will just be a 2-minute minor on Countway, but her second penalty, she had 3 penalties last game and already with 2 here in the first period. Ryan?
I just can't help but notice that Countway really distancing herself from the rest of the pack when it comes to penalty minutes this year and just going strong.
Once she saw Sydney Parham look to come back in that race, made sure to get a quick penalty and extend that lead to 15-11 on the season. A 5-on-3, Vital will clear it. I did learn the Dragons killed a 5-on-3 when they played Chevrolet a little while ago, so they are used to this. Of course, on the...
How many minutes did she get for that?
Carter, it's on the Jumbotron.
Carter, there's actually a power play
Yeah,
button
I
on
feel like I should put this up here.
Yes, you can turn on the power play. Turn on the power play for Falmouth Scarb. Yeah, that's good. And then set it to 140. Set it to 140 using that. We got to teach them, Kaz.
Yeah, we got Carter will be hopefully a part of BHSN in the future. So we like to. Jillian Countway is fired up in the box.
Screaming from the citadel.
Ledwick will put it wide here with 10 seconds to go. This 5-on-3 for the Navigators, obviously the best possible scoring chance they can have. And they're not even going to get a shot on goal in this period. And that will do it. A great job by the Dragon penalty kill with their the two leaders in penalty minutes, both in, guess where? The penalty box.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't even know what to say. That was a pretty big hit there from Countway to close out that period. She did have a pretty egregious hit last game as well.
Not only last game, about 48 hours ago, in that same spot on the ice, she had a hit on Sophia Druin of the Red Hornets into the boards, and now, so she will record her 15th penalty. The Dragons will have 18 seconds left to kill on that 5-on-3. When we return, the Brunswick Sports Network, no idea what our grouping really is, but Kosinski and Robert Bowen are here. Ryan Livesay might be back on the camera. We might have Ethan Patterson. We'll find someone on the scoreboard. Carter's doing okay. But a 0-0 game, as most of these Dragons girls games are 0-0 after 1.
However, we have had luck with Kosinski taking play-by-play in the second period, and
Good point.
a plethora of goals have often followed. So we're hoping to see similar results today, and we will be back in 10-ish minutes. 15. Go ahead. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sidney J. Watson Arena here at Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. We are here for the second period of action between the Brunswick Dragons and the Scarborough, or the Falmouth Scarborough Navigators. I mean, the Dragons are going to be entering this period with 2 players in the box, Sydney Parham and Jillian Countway. Both of them in a bit of trouble here. Obviously not ideal. Carter, there is no option to put 2 power plays up. Just put the one that has more time on it. Countway ended that last period out with a pretty egregious, egregious tackle on who was it on? It was on Hope Milevsky, number 14. Dragons looking to pull together something. They got 3 players on the ice right now, Rob.
Yeah, as I mentioned, they killed a 5-on-3 against Cheverus a few weeks ago, and they obviously have an amazing penalty kill. So I believe in them. Only have 15 seconds to kill on the 5-on-3, and then another minute of 5-on-4.
Yeah, Scarborough will come out of the gate here. Lexi Belrose now ascending, crosses half, and she will enter the offensive zone. She'll take it herself. A shot. The Dragons are lucky to avoid a goal there. That one flew up in front of Labante's face, and Dragons get a full clear. It was number 21 of Scarborough, Alex Serbin, that could not bat it out of the air and keep it in the zone.
So they successfully killed off the 5-on-3, but beyond that, Kaz, I don't know if the Navigators had a quality shot on goal while the Dragons had 3 defenders out there.
I'd have to agree. I think it was only for about 40-ish seconds, but they still did not put anything together. That's going to be a shot on from Maya Fonjimi. Won't come that close. Back to Serbin. Serbin tries to send it. It was Ellie Yates that was the intended target of that pass. It will be sent up ice. No icing call as Countway is released now. Countway back out on the ice. She has been headhunting these past couple games. Puck falls under her stick as soon as she's back in. Centers it. Sydney Parham now. Drives low. Behind the net now. She will backhand it around. Mix up now between McCormick and Ella Yates and Lexi Belrose. That's the 3 duking it out there. Backhand there from the Dragons won't come to much. It was McCormick on the backhand. Scarborough found the other way. They had, who did they have? They had Anna King in front, but nothing came of it. Solveig Ledwick now the other way. Makes 1 miss. Big shot from Ledwick. It won't go. Great save by Tessa Woodbury. She has been crucial to this Navigator success so far, but here comes Falmouth the other way. It was Maya Fonjimi, but she could not quite evade.
Yeah, Kaz, it's pretty hard to believe that this is still a 0-0 game. The Dragons have dominated time of possession. They just really have not gotten a ton of quality shots, and they obviously have the attrition advantage this game, so time will come.
Batal now 1-on-1. Batal shot is stopped by Woodbury. That's as good as it looks going to get. But Woodbury comes up big for the Navigators. Puck now on the stick of Lexi Belrose. She'll carry up ice. It will fall into the stick of Vital, though, who sends it into the offensive zone, but Jerome was offside, so the Dragons can't rush in after it. McCormick was the one to make the big step tackle there. All kinds of chaos here. Hard to really tell what's happening. Whoa. Flynn does get the sub, though. Where they at, though? McCormick now behind the net. Oh, fans on the pickup. And collision will result in multiple players hitting the ice. Vital now backhands it. Woodbury will freeze it, and the Dragons will get an offensive zone faceoff now. We have Cole Bowditch and Evan Dorsey making all kinds of noise over here, causing a real ruckus. Those two are a real problem, and things are getting handsy back there. We're going to leave those be, as we'll see Natalie Parham take on Who we got there? Is that Anna King? No, that's not Anna King. That is Maya Fonjimi in the face-off. Parham wins the face-off. Ledwick recovers. Her shot will score! Beautiful shot from Ledwick. Face-off one, faded left. Buries it in the back of the net. Dragons take the lead 1-0. Rob, this is exactly what we were talking about. As soon as I take the wheel, good things start happening.
We knew the time was coming. Ledwick had just not gotten the right looks yet, but this is a Dragon team that has way more skaters. They have dominated time of possession. The time was coming, we knew it, and Ledwick opens up our scoring finally.
Yes, and after a scoreless first period, the Dragons are the first on the board. An egregious hit from Countway led us to having some doubts about how this Dragons game would fare, but they seem to have regained consciousness. Natalie Parham in the low block. Posts up, but it does exit the zone. Parham now still containing, still holding on to it. Lafayette in hot pursuit. Of course, that is not General Lafayette.
Kaz is, of course, referring to the Marquis de Lafayette, who was a French general who helped out during the American Revolution. French, of course, greatly should be credited with helping America beat the 13 colonies, defeat the British Empire. Really could not have done it without the French, and Marquis de Lafayette was a huge piece of that. I do believe he came over independently before the French actually came and helped out, such as at the Battle of Yorktown, but overall just very grateful, and I'm sure that Lafayette name is traced down directly from him.
We can only assume it is. Vital now bumps it up in the air. Long. Diving save from Saavedra to keep that one in the zone. Dragons do have their third line of attackers on right now. McCormick at the back. She'll fling it forward in the zone. Off the stick of Woodbury. Will be scooped up at the back by Serbin. Serbin sends it around the boards to the disappearing puck zone, where we cannot see anything. And that one was sent up the ice by Anna King. Will be an offensive zone faceoff now for the Dragons.
Very glad to have Ethan Patterson with us here now. Ethan, just wanted to give a quick report about what you missed in this game. I'd love to direct you to our stat sheet right here. And if you can see 2 number 17s in the penalty section, as our penalty race is now 15 for Countway and 11 for City Fareham.
Ledwick's shot won't go. It was a good look, but it got caught up in a mess of defenders. Dragons on the putback, but won't have anything come of it. Sent around the boards. Scarborough tries to clear. They do get it. Ledwick waits for her team to regroup. Now she'll enter the offensive zone. Ella Yates on her. She'll shoot again. Saved by Woodbury. Woodbury's been a solid tendy so far. Gotta say. Donahue with it now. Looks for Countway. Countway couldn't quite make sense of what was going on there. Anna King. Here we go. That was the Parham connection there. 2 twins, 1 brain.
Speaking of twins on the hockey teams, could we have seen just a hat trick of penalties for Countway? No trip. We'll have to look at the replay for that. Ethan, did you see that?
I don't know where the twins reference was coming from there, but
Ryan Livesay is with us right now, and Lauren Livesay, they're twins.
What up, Ryan? Dragons' parents wanted a foul called there, and we're going to get it. Going to go ahead and get a double hold offensive foul. It will either be 2 free throws or a flag and a 10-yard penalty on the defense. And it is going to be a 10-yard penalty. Will be an automatic first down. Livesay looks baffled by my words here. Ethan Patterson, do not worry. We have a new tripod that UPS should be delivering within days. So, sponsored by Senior Domingo Sportside Real Estate Group, of course.
Who was the cross-check on, Kaz? Official.
Somebody on Scarborough.
The official takes a tumble in the corner. Good to see that he's okay.
Yeah, we are in need of officials. Ledwick nets another one from deep range. That's her second of the period. Dragons lead 2-0. The penalty will be released. Labonte comes to celebrate. Yeah, Labonte getting a couple extra fist bumps in there with the team.
Kaz, that is such a crucial goal for the Dragons right there. The last 2 games, the power play has just frankly not been good. 2 games ago against Biddeford, they went 0 for 6 on the man advantage, and 2 games in a row, they could not convert on a 5-on-3 man advantage. So that's just really encouraging. They get on the power play and immediately score with Ledwick.
It is. And Robert, I mean, we've talked about this a few times, but when you call periods, they're significantly less successful for the Dragons than when I do. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. They're definitely a second period team. I will say that.
I mean, I think they're a Kaz team. I think when I'm on the call, it just seems like, good things are in the air. Here come the Dragons the other way. Parham now with Belrose in pursuit. That's not Belrose in pursuit. That was somebody else. That was Reese Grieven. I can't grieve and believe it. For all you folks laughing at home, there will be more jokes. Whoa! Good look there for the Dragons, but Flynn couldn't seem to find the back of the net. McCormick now breaks it up. Belrose contesting. McCormick just kind of coasting around the back right there. That was certainly a foul. Countway tried to go backhanded. Nothing came of it. Dragons really knocking on the door here. I mean, I thought they were going to score at least twice there, but nothing will come of it. Vital now rounds out. Cuts back in. Vital on the move. Enters the zone. Looks to fire. Her shot will hit the leg of Reese Grieven, number 8. And therefore won't score. The back of the leg is not worth any points in hockey. Frozen by Tessa Woodbury. We're going to go ahead and see an offensive zone faceoff for your Brunswick Dragons. We're going to go ahead and go to Robert now. Robert.
Shots on goal still led by the Dragons 9-3. I don't think that count is exactly accurate, but gives you a good telling of the game. The Dragons have had the puck in the offensive zone for the majority of this game, and they buried 2 goals in this period.
We do know, we can now confirm that Robert knows how to read a Jumbotron. In other breaking news, the Dragons are winning 2-0. It will be sent around the back. Sydney Parham, the first one to scoop it up. She will send it around the boards to herself. She won't be the first one there, though. It was Maya Fonjimi who now hits a spin move. Tornado. And tried to cross over, but Maeve Donahue had other plans for her. Alex Serbin around the back now. She cruises past the defense. Parham, the last line, and she hits the slide tackle button. I think she was trying to click shoot, but she hit slide tackle button on accident. Parham now makes a move inside. Backhanded shot is saved. That was a great look from Parham. A lot of nice movement there, and her goal just couldn't find the back of the net. Ledwick now looks to fire. She will. It will clear the net. And that was number 2, Lily Lafayette, who really couldn't hang with him there. The central pass to Ledwick. Ledwick backhands it into the glove of Tessa Woodbury. Dragons are going to get an offensive zone face-off. Jeez, this microphone just did a little tumble in action. Wholesale change now for the Navigators, looking to navigate themselves out of a terrible situation. Not terrible. I mean, it's not all hope is lost, but 2-0 in there. Ledwick will score her third. Just as I said 2-0, she goes ahead and puts the third one in. That's a big goal from Ledwick right there. Hat trick on the day already.
Kaz, we talked about the Dragons being a second period team, and this is what they've done many times this year. This is a repeat, especially of that Gardner game up in Hollowell, where there's a scoreless first period, and then they come out in the second, and Solveig Ledwick buries 3 goals. And just like that, it's 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, Ledwick has a lot of goals in the second period. It's always good. Dragons face off. Won by Saavedra Estrada there. Missoula Long on the puck now. Vital will send it around the boards. Cecilia Smith backhands it to Saavedra Estrada. Belrose, little fancy action pass there, up to Anna King. King. Ooh, close but no banana there for the Falmouth Navigators. Smith will hit the floor. Ella Yates now. They will send it all the way down the ice, and I think we're going to get an icing call here. It might have been tipped. I mean, it might have been, but you can never really tell.
Kaz, this is really just a testament to the war of attrition between these two teams. The Dragons, for the first time in a long time, as I mentioned earlier, are skating 3 lines of forwards there with Smith, Saavedra, and Long. And that's just compared to the Navigators, who have skated really 8 players tonight.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, your players are going to get tired, and it's nice to be able to have a deep bench in which, you got deep lines you can trust. Countway is going to get a... She will do a little wipeout there. The defense ended up catching up to her. It's harder to contain or manage your speed while you have the puck on your stick, I've been told. Patterson gives me a strange look. Maybe that's not true. Anyway, Parham now sends it around the boards to the other Parham. Would you look at that? Ledwick cuts inside, looks to backhand, and she'll score her 4th. That was pretty nasty. That was a great goal right there from Ledwick. Backhand into the top shelf, left-hand side. Rob, what do you got to say?
Just yuck. A just complete takeover of this game by number 14 in white. Once again, our votes for the Gatorade Player of the Year for girls ice hockey. 4 goals in this period for Solveig Ledwick.
Yeah, definitely operating a farm right now against Scarborough Falmouth Navigators. It's not been their most successful period. Brunswick is a pretty dominant second period team, you're right. Falmouth, number 21, Alex Serbin. We'll send it up ice here now. That shot from Maya Fonjimi was no bueno. Now, this is Fonjimi again. We'll send it back down. Delia Vital. Delia Vital into now open space. Enters the offensive zone. Cuts through a couple defenders. That is going to be an own goal, I believe. Vital was the last to touch it, but it did last come off the skate of Fonjimi.
Yeah, they'll credit Vital with the goal. That's our first non-Solveig Ledwick goal in a while, it feels like. A great breakaway, and the Dragons are pouring it on here. 5-0, all 5 coming into the second period.
Yeah, what was a close game is now looking pretty out of reach for the Navigators of the South, who we're gonna have to figure out. They're gonna have to navigate a new strategy, I think. Okay, icing. Icing call will be made. Icing is the process in which the puck is sent by the defending team from behind the red line past the far red line, and the result is an offensive face-off for the team that got the puck sent onto them. It's a pretty vague description, but you guys get the general idea. If you need more information, go to NHLrules.com. It'll probably be on there. That will be iced there. It was Saavedra Estrada who was the sole Dragon pushing through there, trying to net another goal, but just 3 minutes to go here. Dragons will take another face-off. This will be Saavedra Estrada versus Yates. Bumped forward. It was Serbin who sent it around. McCormick put it in. Now Saavedra Estrada behind the net. Yates is the sole defender, one of the 2 defenders actually. Azula Long centers it. And breakaway for Scarborough. Ella Yates one-on-one with Quinn McCormick. She is going to send it off the boards. McCormick will round her own net and come the other way with a head of steam. Yates in hot pursuit. She is just going to send it down. Dragons will get some changes. Ledwick back into the game now for the Dragons. Scarborough's Lexi Bowrose now. Climbs the ladder, but Sydney Parham will sheaf the puck and drop a shoulder. That's a pretty big hit there. Now Ledwick enters the zone. Quickly had it stolen by Scarborough, though. That might be for the best. Give Scarborough a little break. Dragons have had a lot of fun this period. Countway was the intended receptor of that puck, but it didn't fall on her stick. Fongimi sends it off the boards. Parham will be the first one there. She will send it over to Ledwick. Ledwick will backhand it up to the other Parham, Natalie Parham. Ledwick cuts up, cutting through traffic. Her shot will... And that one had some mustard on it, Rob. What do you have to say?
Yeah, good stop by Woodbury there. Obviously, Ledwick has had the hot hand in this period with 4 goals. It really is crazy, exactly how we expect it. The second period has been the period of flurries of goals for the Dragons this year, and nothing different this game. No goals by either team in the first, and now 5 here in the second. If I had to put a prediction, again, my father tells me not to make the Tony Romo type predictions or any predictions, but I'm going to assume there are going to be no goals in the third period.
You know, that's not a ridiculous thing to say. The Dragons might let off a bit. Scarborough may readjust defensive settings. Defensive game planning is probably going to start to shift a little more towards keep your eyes on number 14. Number 14, Solveig Ledwick had Jillian Countway there, but the pass was broken up by Scarborough. Maya Fongimi now was cutting through traffic. Natalie Parham, the first there. Backhand. We will cross that red goal line. And a Scarborough pass is futile as it fell on the stick of Countway. Vital now. Looking for her second. She won't get it. Just 15 seconds to go here. As it will be centered. Just about 10 seconds left, and Scarborough's going to send it down, and I think that's going to do it. Well,
Kaz, this is exactly when the Dragons should pull their goalie and get the 6th skater on here with 3.6 seconds. I would say in a 5-0 game, maybe Chris Ledwick doesn't do that, but if this were a tighter game, this would be the exact scenario to pull your goalie because they're not going to score a full. Ethan, why are you shaking your head? That is exactly the right play.
Simply too much time left on the clock. They win the face-off, they get a shot, chance at a goal.
Yeah, no, 3 seconds, it's not happening. I would take the 6th skater. But Ethan does know a bit about hockey, so I respect his point. I really do.
Thanks, Robert.
Ethan, of course, did have a full court empty net goal earlier this season, and now Ethan's leaving us. Ethan, good luck, man. The Brunswick Freeport boys ice hockey team will play Coney after the conclusion of this game. We do have a home hockey doubleheader, but a 5-goal second period, including 4 from the star Solveig Ledwick. Sam Jensen walking over. Sam, big game here against Coney. What is the thought process going into this one? He's waving me off. Well, any words? Any words shouting at your Instagram? Sam Jensen Photography. Really just nothing at all.
Yes, it's me, Sam. Go follow Sam Jensen Photography on Instagram. Great pictures up there of all kinds of sports events. Go ahead and do that. And like and repost. And like and subscribe to BHSN.
Hey, Sam, good luck against Coney, man.
Thank you, Robert.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll get you back here for our third period of action in 9 minutes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Sidney J. Watson Arena at Bowen College as the Brunswick Dragons take on the Falmouth Scarborough Navigators. We saw a scoreless first period and then a 5-goal second campaign with 4 goals by Solveig Ledwick and 1 by Delia Vital.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as strong as a second period will really get. They were trailing by a lot early, or they weren't trailing actually, but they didn't look as great as they could early on. And then that period they really cleaned up their act and really pulled ahead.
Yeah, that's about right. I think we've had a different crew for all 3 periods here of this game. We now have Brandon Ware on the camera. Thank you for arriving, Beware. We have Jackson Martin on the scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Mingo Portside Real Estate, and Kosinski and Robert Bowen on the microphone. We're the 2 constants.
Yeah, we've really stuck this one out, Robert. When all else failed, we were in the trenches, making sure this game got broadcasted.
But of course, we couldn't do it without you guys, because honestly, if there were 0 people watching, probably would not be doing this. But we have 16 viewers at the moment. Just thank you guys so much for spending your January Monday night with us. So opening puck drop will be won by Parham. Cameron will leave it off to Sydney Parham into the neutral zone. Parham will knock it down and turn it over to the neutral zone for Yates. Parham will collect for the Dragons. Will backhand it around instead, taken over by Anna King for the Navigators. Ledwick will win the puck though. Back for Brunswick, will find Parham. Will wall off Yates so Natalie can get the puck. Off the boards looking for Ledwick. Puck still around in the Dragon defensive zone. Up ice though, Cantway couldn't handle it off her blade. Here is Parham. Pass deflected, will backhand it off the boards into the offensive zone to be collected by Serbin of the Navigators. She will look up the ice, and that will be an icing if it can get to the red line, which it cannot. It is stopped by Labonte. Parham up ice, caught by Bellerose. It's deflected though by Cantway. A chance on a breakaway. Couldn't really get a chance, and Cantway will take the goal off its pegs.
Yeah, Cantway with another, I don't even know what to call it at this point, just another out of control play, I guess. Just coming flying in minutes after the play has been blown dead.
Good to see our Coney players up along the glass. They will be playing against Brunswick in, I'd estimate, about an hour is when that game will have its first puck dropped. They are number 1 ranked in Class B North for boys hockey. Here is Long off the back wall, collected by Yates for the Navigators. Able to get around Smith and Vital, and a chance for Yates with an odd man rush for the Navigators. Here she comes, Ella Yates in the slot will fire, save made by Labonte, and she freezes it.
Big save by Labonte there. You know, early in this period is when the Dragons really need to control the game, protect their lead, because there will come a point when it will just be, no matter what happens, it will be too little too late for Falmouth Scarborough. And as long as they can get safely to that point, the Dragons will win this game.
Yates versus Livesay on the face-off as the linesman awaits something. And now here's a puck drop. It was won by Yates, but she knocked it forward. So McCormick off the glass, and it will bound out of the defensive zone. Serbin collects and will round the net of Woodbury. Up ice collected by Livesay for the Dragons. Vital trying for it. And now fed up to Lafayette. Will be stopped by Labonte, left off for Vital. Vital makes a nice move and will take it through the neutral zone herself. Vital will knock down Yates, and Yates now covering it with her hands, and it will finally be trapped under the glove of Woodbury.
Yeah, it looks like Yates just gloved it there, which I don't know. Are you allowed to do that, Rob?
You're definitely not.
Yeah, I think only the goalie can glove it. And she's not the goalie, so we're going to go ahead and do a little muchos Tolans here and say that that is not allowed.
Parham wins the draw. Flynn leaves it back to Sidney Parham. Bounces off the back wall. Flynn will backhand it centering to Donahue. Donahue fires it off the wall. As now here is Flynn. As it deflected, Parham pokes at it and taken back over by Fangemi for the Navigators. Once again, we're calling them the Navigators just because that rolls off the tongue better, but there actually are more Scarborough players. 9 Red Storm and 6 Navigators on this team. That shot stopped by Flynn. Parham.
Yeah, Scarborough really, Falmouth Scarborough really needs to get something going here. They're running out of time pretty quickly with just 11 minutes left. They need 6 goals to win, 5 to tie. There's no time to be messing around.
It really is not.
And that's not to say that they are messing around. They're not. I totally believe that they're trying to score, but they need to maybe focus more on the attack and less on the defense. If they keep kind of keeping their lines even and really having an equally balanced offense and defense, this game is going to end 5-0. They need to start maybe going 1-4 or something like that. They need to start pushing for a goal.
New forward line for the Dragons. It is Addie White, as well as Marino and Saavedra. Marino will lose the draw to Yates, but it's collected by McCormick by the blue line. She'll put it on net and gloved by Woodbury.
It's a good look for the Dragons there. They burn a few seconds off the clock and get another offensive zone face-off, another chance to score here.
The Coney faithful did switch their position from behind the glass to up along the overlook within the stadium. Just going to keep you guys up to date about where the Coney hockey team is in the building. Collision in front of the Dragon bench between Yates and McCormick.
Yeah, that sounded worse than I think it was. There's a loud cracking sound, but it didn't end up being that damaging to any of the players.
Vital will collect in the Dragon defensive zone and use up a bit of clock as she rounds the net and has it poked, and a chance here. A big collision with King, and Vital will land on top of King and take a little bit of a jab at King. I guess the official believed that was just incidental contact. No calls whatsoever. Vital defending her crease.
Yeah, the Dragons, that was an unforced error there. They're lucky to come away with no damage.
Face off here between Marino and Fangemi.
Coney boys now making a lap around the upstairs region of this Sidney J. Watson Arena.
About to run right behind us, actually. Here is Parham through the neutral zone. If you're wondering what that stampede noise was, that would be the Coney Monmouth. There's actually a whole bunch of schools that is that team.
A whole bunch of colognes as well. A strong waft of many different things as they blew by us.
I believe Coney, Monmouth, Winthrop, Erskine, Spruce Mountain, and then one more in there. A lot of schools. McCormick up ice looking for Ledwick. And Ledwick will put a nice poke on Greven. Swatted there by King. Now Ledwick in the zone. Will fire down the middle. It's taken over and knocked up the ice by the Navigators. Vital will put the move on Yates and knock it around the glass.
Vital's been laying the sauce on this game. No shortage of sauce.
Ledwick, a nice centering pass to Lauren Livesay, who could not put a quality shot on net. Here's Vital up ice.
Robert, I think the word sauce needs to be, it's such a great word. It needs to be used more. Like sauced up. That's like, you know, you threw a great pass and somebody made a great catch, you sauced them up. I don't know. I'm just starting to really understand what this word means.
Battle behind the net. Ledwick will sauce the puck to Vital. Vital will sauce it on net, saved by Woodbury. And she'll freeze it. Now we have the Dragons taking a lap. I wonder, will they go all the way around into that Coney circle over there?
I mean, one can only assume.
Hey guys. Hey guys. Interesting, Kaz. All of them were all dressed up when they entered the rink, but only for a moment, as they are now wearing their sweats.
Yep.
Parham knocks it off the back wall. Yeah, we have two stretching circles currently active in the arena. Very interesting. Parham, high circle, save Woodbury. Here's Natalie Parham. We'll find Donahue, top of the circle, lobs it towards the net, sticked aside by Woodbury. Smith will find Parham.
Now, for you, those of you at home wondering, you know, why don't teams warm up downstairs or in the locker room? The odor that comes from that neck of the woods can cause all kinds of organ damage. That you don't want to do anything in that for that. It takes too long in there.
Here's Long. We'll center it for Smith. Parham pokes at it. Fighting there with Belarus. And cleared by Yates. Navigator's just begging for an icing, but no ice as it was deflected. Parham will collect. Looking across for Smith. The puck hits off the boards and will be collected by Belarus.
Disappointed from the Brunswick boys warm-up circle over there as they seem to have hit something with a volleyball.
Yeah, they love to play that soccer ball circle game before every game as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and you know, we would be much more focused on this game if it were a more competitive game, but it's pretty clear that the Dragons are running away with this one as there is about 6.5 minutes left.
I did, of course, make that 0 goals in the third period prediction, but Ledwick will end it immediately. A 5th goal for Solveig Ledwick right on cue.
That's not exactly fair, Robert. 5 goals, he's 1 away from a double hat trick, which is just pretty much unheard of. She won't go celebrate with the team. I think Brunswick is kind of doing a little sportsmanship maneuver here and laying off the sauce, if you will.
There's Funjemi, the leading goal scorer for the Navigators. An offside.
We're going to get a face-off in the Brunswick facing neutral zone here.
This will be Funjemi up against Livesay. Livesay will win it. McCormick has it deflected. Vital in the defensive zone. Delayed offside. Vital pokes at it. And it will be knocked up the ice. A chance with Anna King in the corner. Centering pass, Vital collects for Brunswick. Makes the nice move. Vital up ice. Flynn deflects that pass. Up ice off of Hussain's.
Brunswick. Oh, here comes Scarborough. We got number 18, Maya Funjemi. Looks to fire. Great defensive play there by Vital. She had an open net on the right side, but couldn't bury it.
Bit of commotion now. The Dragons live to see another day. I guess they're going to live to see a couple more days. They're up 6-0 with just south of 5 minutes to go. Changes will be made by Scarborough here.
Dragons will send back on that new third line of forwards with White, Marino, and Missoula Long.
Smith.
Oh, Smith, of course. No. Yeah, I was right.
Sorry.
Let's not question me again, Kaz.
No, we never will, Robert.
Smith was on that third line before, but now it is White. Towards the net, deflected and wide. Saavedra was also on the third line. Chris Ledwick mixing it up, getting all his skaters some playing time.
These games are really, I mean, it's obviously good for Brunswick to win these games, but it's advantageous to be able to get a lot of players in your team a look, get some of the deeper team players in, and kind of develop them for years to come or even for games to come.
Here's Vanjemi in the zone. Nice poke check by Parham. Vanjemi, though, still with the puck, will leave it off to Belleros. Belleros makes a nice move. Will get her hands free. Backhands it down the middle, and Yates couldn't get a clean shot attempt off.
Yeah, that was a great cross from Belrose. That's one of those ones that Scarborough really needs to convert if they're looking to win games.
White in the zone here to Marino. Stolen back for the Navigators with Belleros. Belleros up ice, too far for Lafayette, and no ice. Here's Vital. Through the neutral zone, she already has one goal on a breakaway.
Albert, to me it looks like Scarborough's kind of thrown in the towel here. They don't seem as energized, and looks like they're kind of trying to get this thing over with here, wrapping it up maybe, just send it down the ice, stop the bleeding essentially.
A little bit of chippiness there as Yates gives a couple shoulder bumps to Saavedra after the play. Ledwick will knock it right near the official and into the bench.
Yeah, I mean, that's just uncalled for. That's just uncalled for. No, it looks completely unintentional from Ledwick. The ref, Ledwick is definitely one of the best sports I've seen in a while. Always, helping other teams out to the sideline if there's somebody injured. I don't think there was any malintent there.
Ledwick will win the puck. Nice play, sending pass to Smith. Couldn't get a clean shot off there in the slot. Serbin for Falmouth Scarborough. And we'll get an icing and an offensive zone faceoff for Brunswick. Out of all the crazy combinations of schools that we see in girls hockey and in boys hockey with this Coney Co-op coming up, really just two schools in Falmouth Scarborough is pretty clean. It reminds me, of course, of Brunswick Freeport, our boys hockey team here. But of course, Brunswick, the only girls hockey team in the state of the 13 teams that is comprised of only one school.
Yeah, not only that, Brunswick has like a solid JV team as well. They got a lot of people that want to play girls hockey here, and that's it says something about this program. It's successful. People want to play for it, and it's got a bright future.
I would agree. Of course, they made their first trip to a state championship last season, losing to Chevrolet in overtime. Centering pass looking there for Countway and Marino. Countway puts it on net. A rebound attempt for White. And turn back over to Vanjemi. Countway will knock it. Marino turn back over to Ledwick. Ledwick with space. She'll feed it wide. Trying to get the puck to Marino. Maybe Ledwick definitely looking to pass the puck before shooting already with 5 goals. Ledwick will put a nice move on and look to feed again to Marino. She has just had those assist attempts.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do from Ledwick here. You know, realize 5 goals is plenty for one person, and maybe, you know, spread the wealth here.
Here's Ledwick in the slot again, looking for Marino. And wide. There's 45 seconds left. Room for Fingemi, and maybe one last chance for the Navigators. Fingemi had King open in the middle. Ledwick will steal the puck and will spin and look to run some clock down on this game. Off the boards, up ice for Flynn.
Now, Robert, I don't have a bowl of soup with me right now, but if I did, I would throw it on the ice in celebration. This has been a great game for the Brunswick Dragons. It's great to come out on top. 6-0 is a punishing win, and I think it says something to all the teams that look to contest them for this conference. You know, they're here to fight, they're here to win, and they want it just as bad as everybody else.
Well, they will snap a 2-game losing streak and advance to 7-6 on the season. They actually had lost 4 of their last 5 games coming into today, but as they close it out, a 6-0 victory. Their next game is on Wednesday, senior night, against that Gardner-Winslow-Messalonsky team that we saw earlier this season, the Black Tigers.
Yeah, that'll be another good game. I think they did defeat the Black Tigers 5-0 earlier in the season, and it was one of those games where it was a 5-0 second period and scoreless first and third. So
we nearly had a repeat of that, but Ledwick did bury her 5th goal in the 3rd period.
yeah, so I think it'll be a good game. I think that's going to be a big one for the Dragons. They need to come out on top there. They need a win to kind of, what's their record right now? They're going to be
7-6.
7-6. So if they bump up to 8-6, they'll have a playoff, maybe a playoff run here. But they need to start stringing together a couple wins.
Well, we thank you all for joining us here on Brunswick Sports Network. We had a huge crew, but we ended with Brandon Ware on the camera, Jackson Martin on the scoreboard, and Kosinski and Robert Bowen on the microphone. We thank you for joining us. Brunswick wins 6-0. We'll be back here in about 30 minutes for Brunswick Freeport versus the